Global happenings today. We communicate. We analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. For one, Wike has been very busy with a lot of things. PDP for one, FCT issues, land revocation for another. Back home, the loyalist of Wike, the FCT minister, is not finding it funny the way Fubara is running things low-key and they're making demands. In fact, the peace that we are literally saying we're enjoying, Wike's loyalists are beginning to shake the table. Before we continue this paper, kindly subscribe to our channel. According to what we gathered, River State Governor Similar Fubara is facing pressure from loyalists of former Governor Wike to remove his chief of staff. Now, Edison Ehie was the former factional speaker of the River State House of Assembly and was appointed to the position after resigning from his legislative seat. Now, Wike loyalists urged Governor Fubara to remove Edison Ehie as chief of staff, insisting that only Wike's trusted allies should hold key political position in the state. Now, the call for Ehie's removal is the latest development in the ongoing power tussle between Fubara and Wike. We've given him the power already. Now, what's up? So let's continue anyway. The call for his removal is the latest development in the ongoing power tussle between Fubara and Wike, who have been at odds since Fubara took office in May 2023. Wike, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, has been accused of trying to exert control over Fubara's administration, leading to a bitter rift between the two. And the conflict escalated sometime in October 2023 when the lawmakers loyal to Wike attempted to impeach Fubara, sparking violent clashes and assault attacks on the State Assembly complex. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu intervened, brokered a peace deal between the two sides, but tension still remained. Fubara had accused Wike of trying to undermine his authority, while Wike has claimed that Fubara is ungrateful and has failed to respect his legacy. The power struggle had paralyzed governance in River State, with both sides engaging in a series of court battles and counter-accusations. I recall that this crisis between the River State House of Assembly and the executive arm of government, leading to the declaration of state of emergency that lasted over 6 months, and the subsequent restoration of democratic governance after long work to reconciliation between Wike and Fubara. The crisis has raised concerns about the stability of Nigeria's oil-rich River State, which is a key contributor to the country's economy, as there seems to be no true reconciliation among the supporters of the duo. Now, let me quickly say this. Fubara has moved on. Okay, let me also quickly say this. Wike has accepted the fact that Fubara has accepted the fact that he is the leader. Whether by default or by circumstance or happenstance, it has happened. But there's something I've noticed that the supporters of Wike, supporters of Fubara, have shown a high degree. I could be wrong, but I stand to be corrected as well. But this is just my personal opinion. I believe that Fubara's supporters have shown high degree of maturity and restraint. But Wike supporters, one way or the other, have tried to impose themselves on Fubara. Fubara, over time, have shown maturity. Sometimes they pretend as if it's not the governor. Sometimes you go to the local government, the one that they have selected. Don't forget that this local government election was done before Fubara was reinstated fully after a 6 month suspension. So some of these guys are, of course, loyal to Wike. But sometimes we see them in their offices. What do? They ensure that Fubara's then. But bit by bit, Fubara corrected all of that. They will not put Fubara's picture. They put Bola Ahmed Tinubu's picture. They will put their picture. And they will not put Fubara's picture. But bit by bit, Fubara stamped his authority and moved on. Now, I could also remember immediately after they called, the 6 months the suspension was lifted up, and the River State Assembly, House of Assembly, beckoned on Fubara to go ahead, bring all the necessary things, his nominees, appointee, his nominees, the list and all that, so they can go ahead. One of the things I love about this whole drama is the fact that Fubara does not need to go through screening for his chief of staff. Many of them have been expecting that Fubara should lay off Edison Ehie. But that would be Fubara's own doing if he tried. And I like the fact that, this is personal, I like the fact that Fubara has moved on and not allow any of such. After all, you wanted governance, you wanted everything. This is mine. Why are you demanding for this at least? But the only, issue, personal, this is now also very personal, the only issue I have is the fact that, what about Okojumbo? What is going to be his fate? These guys went to Brazil for climate change, conference. They've been enjoying a lot of freebies and goodies as house lawmakers. Okojumbo and the other two are not saying anything. I don't think they are attending plenary. And I also feel personally too that if they stay away beyond a stipulated time that is against their own, they can enact it and call for a recall or call for that they've been away from plenary for such an amount of time. I don't know who is shying away from what, but I think that this issue of Okojumbo not attending plenary, one would understand why. Because Okojumbo was seen as a factional speaker, so he may not be comfortable being with them, except of course Fubara is going to put Okojumbo in his nomination list, and of which there may be issues. So apart from Edison, I don't know why his case is paining them, but Edison, he is one person. They call him king of the youth. He's loved by most Riverians. It will be almost difficult for Fubara to let him go because he's the core politician. I would say that probably must have given Fubara, the governor of Rivers State, all the moral boost he needed to stand firm. Do you understand? And they feel that if he still, I personally feel that they assume that if Edison Ehie still remains in that strategic position, giving him moral support, giving him tactical assistance, political insight, to whatever it is he's going to do, likelihood that Fubara may likely run again come 2027. It is his constitutional right, agreement or not. I may have signed that I'm going to only one term. That is not constitutional. And whatever it is I've signed, the Constitution of Nigeria super exceeds and overrides such agreement. So if he says, well, I didn't want to run, but the people of Rivers State said I should go ahead and run, who am I to say no? And if the way this Tinubu administration is going, he needs all the support he can get. And I can tell you for free that the president may decide to give his support to Fubara if that will ensure, because everybody is looking for organic support. The question is, does Nyesom Wike, the city minister, have organic support in Rivers State when Fubara is there? The answer is as good as mine. All right, that's we're going to wrap it up. What's your take? Do you think that this is no issue at all? Fubara, as usual, would actually tackle this?